Hello, I'm Jesse. In my previous video about Game Boy memory addresses, I talked a little bit about the Game Boy's memory bus. If you missed it, you should check it out. If you don't want to miss any future videos, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you want to help make future videos, you can support me on Ko-fi, linked in the description. The Game Boy has a shared bus architecture. The work RAM, cartridge ROM, and save RAM all share connections to the CPU. But the video RAM has its own connections. Why is that? The Game Boy needs to access the video RAM to know what pixels to put on the screen. The Game Boy runs at 60 frames per second. That gives the Game Boy just 16.7 milliseconds per frame. In that 16.7 milliseconds, two things are happening. The Game Boy is running game code to update game state, like player and enemy movement, and updating video RAM with any graphics changes. The Game Boy is also reading video RAM so that it can set each pixel on the screen properly. The Game Boy does these two things simultaneously. Inside the CPU, there's actually two processing units, the real CPU and the Pixel Processing Unit, or PPU. The PPU is the one that's connected to video RAM and figures out how to set each pixel properly. The CPU executes game code. The PPU needs roughly 35 to 59% of each frame to set all the screen's pixels. And while it's doing that, it needs to read from video RAM. Of course, during this time, the CPU is free to try to write to video RAM. If the CPU were allowed to read or write from video RAM while the PPU was accessing it, all the address and data signals would get mixed up. This is called bus contention, and it's bad. So the PPU says no. It prevents the CPU from reading or writing to video RAM while it's accessing it. That means that between 35 and 59% of each frame, the CPU can't access video RAM. If video RAM were on the main bus with work RAM, cartridge ROM, and save RAM, then the only way to prevent bus contention while the PPU needs to read video RAM would be to block the CPU from accessing all those memory chips. Without access to all that memory, the CPU wouldn't have much to do. So the reason the video RAM has its own bus is so that the CPU can keep doing things while the PPU is rendering the screen. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Bye!